Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday Real Estate Marketing Show with RuthieRocks, Ruth Allbrand, and I am Marketing Max. This is show number, Ruth, give it to me again, 316.
16.
I don't know why my Saturday morning memory is so lackadaisical these days.
Well, you weren't here last week, so we give you a
Right,
pass.
exactly right. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ruth. So today we have a special guest. Her name is Laura Nowlan. She's a small business owner here in Las Vegas, Nevada here. She owns CS Now Staffing, and she's going to talk to us about her experience with number 45. We'll just leave it at that for now. But before we get into Laura, Ruth, what is happening in Las Vegas?
There is so much happening in Las Vegas. And I will tell you, the beautiful thing is it's consistent, right? It's consistent.
Yeah, really consistent right now.
The market is hot. And I was telling everybody all of September, we're going to be ahead of last September. And guess what? We were up 7% in sales from last September, even through this pandemic period. It is amazing. And we've got about 6,626 available condos, single family homes, and townhomes. And yesterday we listed 179 homes, which I love because I like to keep that inventory up. We put 111 under contract, so everybody's out there working hard. And we closed 116 homes, so we're putting families into homes, and Las Vegas is just growing beautifully. I think at a very nice rate, and we continue to outpace last year, except for the couple COVID months. So I think by the end of this year, we may, I think we're going to be in the plus numbers actually, because so far this month, October, only the third day in, actually I have 2 days of stats since this is the third day, we don't have those stats yet, but for 2 days, we're ahead by 20 homes. We've already sold 286 homes.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, I mean, that's really good. The little V that you see on the screen is the projection by applied analysis for the visitor volume. And I have been trying to show this almost daily. So we feel the consumer confidence that, we're coming back, and it's going to come back pretty rapidly as soon as the COVID starts dying down, if you will, the pandemic goes away. And you can see that, there's a lot of pent up people wanting to come here to Vegas to get out of that cabin fever they have and get into. Yeah. I mean,
you visit the Strip these days on the weekend. It is packed, actually. It's actually nice to see. I was just down in the Fashion Show Mall 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, and it was hustling and bustling. So it was very encouraging to see that.
Yes, I think that I think the nature of the pandemic is that when we feel comfortable, we're going out, and that's what's happening. Yeah, it's exciting. It really is.
You can't keep animals in a cage for too long. Not referring to humans as animals, but as human beings, animals. We like to roam free, so it's hard to keep us contained.
Yes, it is. Is.
So what was the total numbers for September? I know you probably went over it. Maybe what was the total number of sales? You have that?
Yes, 3,832.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the second green box there. Those were the September numbers, and then up here is the October numbers already. So, I just think that, and this is the first weekend, so I'm sure we're going to do some more sales and listings and keep up the green.
And is inventory increasing right now, or is it staying steady?
It's staying steady.
Okay.
Very steady. We stay between 1.6 and 1.8 months of available inventory.
Yeah. I've been actually kind of just looking around, just in real estate in general, paying a little bit more attention to different houses, and they're flying off the shelf here. Even houses, if you price it right, or even in the $500,000-600,000 range, if you can get under that, it will stay within that conforming loan rate. And the value is there. I mean, homes are less than 30 days, even at that price. It's pretty incredible, actually, right now.
It really is. And we see we see, like you're experiencing, the more expensive homes are selling finally.
Mhm.
I mean, normally it takes 9 months to sell a home over $1 million, and we're seeing that that's coming down a little bit. So I think there was some pent up buying power out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And plus with the rates staying low now, and then the Federal Reserve Chairman saying that he's going to keep rates low through 2023 at this point. So, I mean, it could be some really good times for mortgage people and real estate people for the next 3 years at least.
And I say this is the fourth quarter. It's going to be the winning quarter of 2020. And then we're just going to soar for the next 2 years. And I don't like to project too far out to real estate agents, but I tell the realtors that get your act together in this quarter for the next year, and you can set your career on autopilot if you add people to your database and stay in touch with them and do all the things that you're supposed to do to cultivate your business. You'll be in sitting pretty for 2022 and 2023. It's just going to be amazing.
And if you look at that V curve that that Ruth put up here in this graph here in the Excel spreadsheet, I mean, you want to be prepared when on the down slope of that V. You don't want to wait till the V up curves on the other side to ramp up your marketing and preparedness, because once that happens, I mean, once people start coming back here to Vegas, and then they're going to be able to look around on the real estate again and the prices, and they'll start reconsidering the possibility of moving here, because state income taxes in other states are going up. They're not going down right now.
800,000 people are moving from New York and California, moving out of New York and California. 800,000 because of the economic climate and because of the taxes. So I just see a couple good years here, but I only want to project out through 2021.
Right.
It's going to be amazing. And next year we have the underground tunnel that's going to open up, and we have the World Resort, which is 3,000 or 4,000 rooms. And we know from history that for every room, we employ 3 people outside of the casino hospitality industry. I don't know, but I think these numbers here, the projections that they gave on the visitor volume, are going to increase when the resort opens.
Sure. No, it's exciting. 2021, just around the corner here. We got 2 and 3/4 months left. So,
there's $23 billion worth of projects going on right now in this town. And I think only 1 or 2 shut down because of COVID and may not reopen, but the rest of them, because we were up over 24 billion, but now we're 23.1 billion. What a number. And there's so much going on. And I think with these projections and the interest rates, that you're going to see the building permits increase as well to keep up with these demand, because the building permits couldn't keep up with the demand this year. Last year, the average new home sales was approximately 800 a month. This year, it's over 1,000 a month. So now with the interest rate news, I think that you're going to see the builders applying for more building permits. And I think the end of last year, 3 of the major builders did major land acquisitions. So, they're setting the stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get ready to take advantage of this tsunami of potential opportunity that's going to land on our laps here in 2021. All right. Anything else before we introduce our guest today, Ruth?
No, I'm excited to see Miss Laura. Let's get her.
Bring her on.
And I'm going to be in the middle, and I don't want to be in the middle. Oh, dear. Okay. I'm going to.
Good morning, Laura. Well,
good morning.
There you are.
The technology issues here. Welcome to the Real Estate Marketing Show on Saturday, right?
Yes. Thank you so much for the invite. Really
absolutely. Absolutely. So I always start out the guests asking the same question, right? Which is, are you a local here in Las Vegas, or like native born, or transplant from somewhere else?
Definitely a transplant, but I feel like a native now. I've been here for 14 years. Originally, I was born in Mexico.
Okay.
My mother brought me when I was 3 years old to the United States, grew up in the city of Redlands, California. And then 14 years, I came to Las Vegas, Nevada. Actually in California, I was in the real estate market, and I entered the staffing industry when I got here.
Got it. Yeah, I was, we were talking prior to this. I don't know how we're friends on Facebook, but we are for whatever reason, either through probably real estate or your staffing, which is weird. But anyways, funny thing how people brings us together. So, and how do you like it here? How 14 years ago? So you came in, right? What, 2006 ish?
Yes.
Right. So I came here in 2004 from California. I'm from Southern California myself, Huntington Beach, California. How do you like it so far versus California?
I love it. But I will be honest that when I first got here for about 6 months, I just used to say, man, I hate it here. I miss California. I really hate it here. It's so darn hot. And one person told me, he goes, if you hate it so much, why don't you go back? And it gave me a reality check. Oh, he's right. Oh, heck no. I really love Las Vegas, Nevada. And I do. I mean, I love our community. I really do. I've gotten used to it. So I really enjoy it. This is home for me now. Right.
Have you, I attempted once to go back to California, but going there and seeing the traffic again and the high state income tax again and the home prices skyrocketing to unfathomable amounts. I to this day I still don't know how people afford to live in California. How do you even make the payments on a regular job in California? It blows my mind. So
right.
So tell us a little bit about what you do here in your business, CS Now Staffing here, Laura.
Okay. So like I said, I've been in the staffing industry for 14 years. And in October of 2014, we decided to go ahead and open up our own staffing company. It is family owned and operated. And in January of 2015, I went ahead and I teamed up with 2 other community leaders, and we started Nevada Hispanic Business Group. It's a nonprofit organization bringing the Hispanic and non-Hispanic business community together. And so we do that through volunteering, educating, networking, and we also do advocacy for small businesses.
Oh, fantastic. And you've been a really vocal part of that community too, because you've been able to, in the recent times, even actually a few years ago, be able to meet the current president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump here, 45. Actually, well, what I see from you on my Facebook feed is actually you posting live when the president goes live, and you recently were at a round table here. Tell us a little bit about that, and more importantly, kind of tell us the story behind how you were able to actually, get invited to something like that. Not many people. I've never met anyone that actually has actually shook the hand of a sitting president in my life, and so you've been able to actually shake his hand. So walk us through that story and what happened about all that.
Absolutely, it's kind of interesting because. Originally back in 2015, I said I would never, I was not a fan. let's just put it, I was not a fan at all whatsoever. And I remember hearing the Lord's voice, and maybe some of your audience will relate and some will not, right? But I remember hearing the Lord's voice, Trump. And I didn't understand why. I actually kept arguing with the Lord. And for about 30 days, I just kept hearing Trump, and he had me in the book of Revelations. And then I ended up getting a call that if I would be interested in meeting him in person. And so I took that opportunity. I said, yes, I want to be at the table. I want to know why I keep hearing Trump from the Lord. And so I had the opportunity to meet him back in 2015 at Trump Towers. And it was a roundtable type of discussion where he literally came over, shook my hand, looked me straight in the eyes, and made that connection. And as I watched him interact with, I think it was about 16 or 18 of us in the room, it's like he was a man of action, a total complete businessman, no BS. It was like, this is what we need to do for the community. Okay, so let's do it. Okay. And it was like he would, it was a man of action. And then I completely understood why I kept hearing Trump. I said, yes, he is, but he's going to be the president. And so I immediately, when I took that picture with him, I posted it. And you can imagine all the negative feedback I got. But it didn't matter to me because I was listening to the Lord's voice. And that was more important to me. So I had many friends that said they were friends, and then I lost them along the way. So they truly weren't friends, because they didn't respect me and my opinion. They respected their opinion, and if I agreed with them, but then if I disagreed, then that really wasn't a friend to me, because it's okay to agree to disagree. Right. And so that's when I became a fan, and I was sold that he was going to be the president, and he made it to be number 45. In 2016, I was invited to Hispanic Heritage Month to the White House. So I had an opportunity to go in to the White House and actually pray and touch the furniture, and was just praying for it. And then in this year, again, I got a call asking me that if I would be interested in meeting with him in a roundtable session, and it was 10 of us. And so I was able to meet him at Treasure Island, and it was amazing, because in the nonprofit organization with COVID right now, we represent a lot of small businesses. And as you know, I mean, everyone's feeling the impact of it, especially the small business community. And to be able to see what the SBA and what the president, along with Congress, were able to pass, the PPP and the EIDL disaster loan, really made a big difference. So as being the co-founder and the president of the nonprofit organization that focuses on small business community, I actually nominated him for our Éxito Award. And they had just voted saying yes, the board did, on that Friday, and I got to meet with him on that Sunday morning. So during national TV, I asked him, would he accept the nomination? And he did on TV. I did not expect him to say yes right away, because I was still trying to do paperwork and trying to get all the information in and follow protocol, but I kind of skipped it. Where he accepted before, the formal exception of the nomination. But he did accept it on national TV, so he cannot now say, oh, I didn't accept it. So he is actually our nomination for the Éxito Award. And the reason we do the Éxito Awards, we actually do them on a national scale, we do it on a state scale, and then local. And we nominated him for the national because we really believe that he has been the president for the small business community. He has been a voice for us, which you hadn't heard in the past. We also nominated Jovita Carranza from the SBA administration. We're still waiting for her to accept the nomination. We nominated as well on a state level with Saul Ramos. He is the deputy director of the SBA. He's been a blessing for us, for our state, because he is bilingual. So he's been able to help so many small businesses that don't speak English, because we finally have someone bilingual in Spanish. And it doesn't matter what time of day of the week, hour, whatever, I text him and he calls me back immediately. So, I mean, how do you get that at that type of level? A deputy director that handles the state. And so he did accept the nomination. We're going to actually have it on October the 14th. That's our plans now. And unless the governor does something different and, changes any other regulations. We also nominated David Eclipse from the McCarran National Airport. And what he does is they do DB certification for small businesses so that they can go after government contracting. And that's another gentleman, it goes beyond their work requirements. It's like, it doesn't matter what time or day we contact him, we say, this small business needs help us. And it's like, he's on the line. How can I help them? So that's been my opportunity with President 45, is what we're calling him today.
Fantastic. So I have a follow-up question to some of these meetings, right? My perception of any sitting president, right, not just Donald Trump here, is that they go around, do the shake hands, kiss babies type of deal, right? Especially around election time, they're doing their tour. But does anything ever come out of these? Like, so you were saying that, he was a man of action, right? He get a sense of that. Like, so all the things that you proposed to him, or the roundtable proposed him in those meetings, what's the follow-up, to any of that actually helps you implement those things?
Right. So what a great question. Thank you. So in 2015, I knew that the only reason I was there was because of the Lord. So I needed to make sure he heard about the churches. And let me tell you, he has been phenomenal. Fantastic support on religion. It doesn't matter what type of religion, but he's been there for the churches. And so the follow-up, he's kept his word. He talked about supporting small businesses. He's been there. He's making changes. He's talked about health reform. He's been making changes on that, you know, on the Obamacare. He has, without really changing the whole Obamacare, you know, but he's been able to implement things that have helped individuals like me as a small business owner, not making it mandated where everyone has to take health insurance when it's sometimes a lot more expensive. Actually, most times it's a lot more expensive to actually have health insurance now than instead of having the fee that you would have prior, right? It's more expensive to actually have it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I remember, you know, especially small business owners. I have a few friends that are lawyers, right? And especially if you're starting off as a lawyer, I mean, you don't have a lot of running capital that you can throw away on stuff, and sometimes it's easier, it's less expensive to pay the fee that you know, I mean, the IRS, you know, charge for not having insurance than to buy insurance, and a lot of people are opting for that, especially small business owners who don't work for big corporations and things of that nature, and for anybody in the corporate world, if you think health insurance costs are going down since you know, Obamacare, you're sadly mistaken.
Right, exactly.
20% increase in my work, you know, healthcare and less coverage, surprisingly. So, but fantastic. That's great. I mean, that's good to hear because, you know, I mean, we hear a lot of things on the media, right? The media engine now. I call it the media industrial complex now because they're instead of reporting actual news and allowing us to form opinions, they're force feeding us their opinions already right now, and so we don't really get a clear understanding of people in general. You know, both anybody that's on, you know, that the media chooses to, you know, escalate into their attention. We don't know who that real person is, and it always, you know, kind of annoys me a little bit that, you know, people can judge people when they've never sat with them face to face or heard them say something or whatever, regardless of who it is. You know, Trump, I want to ask you, I mean, what do you think? There's obviously a perception in our country that the Democrat Party is for minorities, right? Like support minorities. And I grew up with that perception, right? Because I'm a minority.
So did I.
Much like you, an immigrant, you know, a legal immigrant into the United States. I mean, everybody comes here for the opportunities here. And in all my life, I'm like, Democrat parties for the minorities, right? Why do you think that perception is there? And where do you see that now in the community, especially in the, you know, Hispanic and Latino community?
Right. Well, me as growing up in Redlands, California, I definitely was a registered Democrat. But I believe that back then I saw a lot of involvement. Like I had a lot of mentors and they were Democrats and they explained to me why I was a Democrat. And let me tell you, after moving to Las Vegas, Nevada, and actually finding the Lord here, I've been saved for a little bit over 9 years. That's where my eyes started opening. You know, I voted for Obama because I wanted to see change, but that was not the type of change I wanted to see. So I was going through my own journey, you know, of being saved and creating that relationship with the Lord and studying the Bible, where I thought, this doesn't seem right. You know, just because I'm a Latina, no, I don't think this way. This is wrong. And so I'm more of a Christian than I even am Latina or even American. You know, to me, my relationship with Christ is the most important thing. And through that journey is how I ended up then changing my party and becoming a Republican and having that opportunity to actually meet number 45, you know, and being and understanding that many promises were made by different parties. But here we actually have an individual who chose to actually run as a Republican that wasn't really representing so much a party, but was representing the people. And that's what I'm about. I'm about more of people than I am a party. And so I found that with number 45, that he is literally about the people. He keeps his word. He connects with individuals. I mean, the things that you hear about him, that's why I like to always share the live feeds, because I think that that's what people should be watching, is the live feeds and not so much the media, once the media has already taken clips out and made their own, followed their own agenda and created their own story. And I don't know if that answered your question, but that's what I find that with the media. So I really love that we're to the point where we can actually do live feeds, and we can have you guys on, with your own show. And look at that. We can actually put other sides of other stories together and not having someone following a certain agenda.
Sure. No, I mean, that's the reason why I only watch C-SPAN. I don't watch anything. I just watch C-SPAN. I want to see the whole thing.
Right.
So how is the community right now, going into this crisis, right? You're directly related to the staffing industry. And so you're in touch with these small businesses. What's the feeling and thoughts of how we've handled this one as a country, two as a local community and a state, right? A lot of backlash from the governor right now for doing what he has been doing. And to his credit here, he's finally started to open up here things. And so, I mean, what's the feeling among small business owners here, especially in the Hispanic community, on what's happening?
That we want to open up. We want to open up. And, I was interviewed earlier this week and was told, well, do you think number 45 is doing a good job? Because he really, he's closing up this and that. He's doing this and that. And I'm like, look, it doesn't matter if he made the decision too soon or too late, because you're going to critique him no matter what, because he made a decision and he had to make one. And he was very clear that he made the decision to allow each state governor to govern their states, because every state is different. So if you're going to point a finger about the state of Nevada, then we've got to point it to the governor. Right? We look for the governor for leadership in the state. And I'm really glad to see that now he's opening it up, because we have more damage that we're creating by keeping our city closed, our state closed. And so I'm seeing that. I was actually out yesterday knocking on doors, and I was able to speak to a lot of Latinos who are actually very, very conservative. So when I hear some of the news medias saying, do you see the numbers that there's more liberals right now supporting, Biden per se? No, that's not true. I talked to many Latinos who spoke Spanish who were supporting also number 45, because they want to see the state open. They want to see our country open. They want to make sure that we're not becoming a communist country. Absolutely. How do we give government so much power to close us down and to force us to wear face masks?
Yeah, actually, the one thing I really learned from this whole process this year, because there's no other entertainment right now. I mean, this year has been a confluence or what is it? It's a serendipitous moment for news media and the election, because there's nothing else to watch right now. But what I learned is we got to really pay attention as a community more to our local and state representatives and who we vote into those positions, because at the end of the day, they control much more of the power and the legislation within the local communities. And for whatever reason, we have all media attention on the presidency, but we need to make sure our representatives, are sharing in the same values and the systems that will work for the people in each and local states. Because the president really doesn't, I mean, for me, my understanding is that the president really doesn't have a lot of power over states. I mean, each state's local governor really has the ability to mandate whatever. And, and so we got to pay attention to that a little bit more. That's one thing I learned. I mean, I loved it when, Dana White actually spoke up, and he was the only one of all the people that I've seen on the media that actually said that. And I'm like, that is exactly true, right? We have a lot of our attention to who becomes president, but really, I mean, we got to make sure we read the bills and the legislation that comes by, on these ballots to make sure we're voting for the right things. And so, I mean, some interesting stuff this year. I mean, it's nice to see, one of the things I love about having you on the show, we're probably going to get a lot of slack for this because you're a Trump supporter, right? And Ruth and I have always just been, very neutral when it comes to, either way, right? Because at the end of the day, I think we're all just moderate. We're right in the middle. There's some things that we believe that are, for the left, and something that we believe for the right. And at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want to have prosperity and, and community, and to be able to feed our families and enjoy our lives the way with the freedoms that, you know, people have died for in this country. And I think we all share those same values, but it's nice to see and to talk to somebody that actually, you know, sat in the rooms, shook a person's hand, and can give an opinion through not only what she's hearing or a person's hearing, but the feeling that you get from being in a person's presence, right? Because people can say stuff all the time, but when you're in their presence, there's an emotion and a feeling and an energy that you probably feel that no one else can ever experience. And from that, if you trust your instinct, then it sounds like you're a person of a Christian person, and if you pray, you stay in tune with that internal kind of radar, right? Mm-hmm. So what's next? I mean, what do you think is next for Nevada here and for the business community? What are they doing to plan for the next year in 2021 here?
You know, I think it's really going to depend on this election and how well we're going to be adapting to what has taken place. I mean, even in the school system, right? So many things have changed, not just in our city and in our state, but in the whole country, and almost the whole world has been impacted by this. So I'm just praying that we're able to, all figure out a way how to meet in the middle and be able to work together and agree to disagree on topics, issues, and people. Yep. Right? Get past that. Find a common ground of what we believe in. Like, who says, waking up in the morning saying, I want to see what I can do to harm our city? No. Yeah. I don't think people wake up in the morning saying that, right? So we all wake up in the morning. How can I impact my community in a positive way? How can I touch at least one person today? If all of us can do that, can you imagine what would happen to our city? Because we have to restart, we have to reopen. One blessing that I think that I've seen is that, when the Strip started closing down, we're not just the Strip, right? Las Vegas is more than just the Strip. Remove the Strip and you have a small community. A lot of us know each other, and if we don't know each other, we know someone who knows that other person, but we're connected.
Or how did that affect your staffing company?
I lost some of the clients that typically have like events, but I gained manufacturing, logistics, construction companies that I didn't have before. So even though I lost some, I gained in a different area. And I only lost the event companies just for this year, right? For this season. We're still going in contract for next year. So in all reality, I guess I'm not doing that bad myself. How did it affect our office when the governor said that when he classified essential and non-essential, which I didn't agree with? I believe that everyone is essential. So we're considered essential. No matter what, we have to keep our city going and our community going. That's the way a staffing agency works, right? Yeah. And so we decided, okay, we're going to go ahead and close up our office. We can work from home because we're able to service all 50 states virtually. We send people home, and I would just go on conference calls daily with them. And after about a week into it, they're like, we want to come back to the office. We're ready to kill our families. We need to get out. We promise we will not open up the doors to anyone, only by appointment only. So we went ahead and actually reopened our office, but just made it by appointment only. So that was in phase 1. And then when he took us into phase 2, with the riots, I said, we're going to go ahead and stay in phase 1. We're going to continue doing by appointment only to try to keep everybody safe, not from the virus, from what was happening in our community and what we were watching happen in our country. I would hate for any of my team members to be affected in a negative way, especially when I am very vocal and I do share my opinion. And I believe that, so many men and women died for me to be able to voice my opinion. Then why am I going to stop now? I have two.
Yeah.
I have a son who's a disabled veteran. I have a daughter who's right now in the National Air Guard, in the National Air Guard. And then I have two brothers that served in the Army. So I'm like, there's no way I can give up my voice, you know? And so I really hope and pray that each of us could find that change within ourselves on how we can improve our community better and figure out how to work together. It doesn't matter the party, it's the people and it's the ideas and how can we work together to make it more of a positive community effort. That's what I see. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if everyone can actually, I've lost a lot of friends, like I said, but I've also have some that are very liberal on the other side who I haven't lost.
So
who I can easily put a post and say, I love you.
Laura,
what we agree to disagree. I still love you.
So one of the things that I've learned this week is that they're projecting that next year our unemployment is going to go down to 6%, which is virtually no unemployment because 6% is the standard. And that should really help your industry, I would think, the staffing industry, especially in Las Vegas with all the things that are going to happen this coming year. Do you get any economic reports? I used to be very close to Manpower. The owner of the franchises in 3 states was one of my best friends. And he used to always give me the, I guess every quarter they got an economic report, you know, so that they could kind of plan for their future. Do you get something like that? And have you seen anything that says our unemployment is going to go down to 6% by the end of next year?
No, but I do agree that we actually unemployment is going to go down. And I feel what's happening in our community because staffing companies in 2008, when the economy started crashing, we were the first ones that felt it. And then when the economy started coming back up, we were the first ones to feel it, right? What I'm getting is a lot of great job openings that are paying above $80,000 a year. I'm getting a lot of really nice executive search type of positions right now. Even the positions in manufacturing, all of them are above, you know, they're $11, $12, $15 an hour. So that's nice to see. Now, we made a decision that when we first started the staffing company, we were not going to pay anyone minimum wage. So we never took any positions under $9 an hour. And now we don't take any positions under $10 an hour. And we actually try to stay away from the $10 jobs, where I remember actually being in a round table with Manpower. And I'm like, you guys can have those. We'll let you guys have those. We don't want those.
So with all the activity going on, like Circa is just opened, and the other casinos and projects that are going to come online next year, have those companies reached out to you to help in staffing them?
Yeah, I don't specialize in events. Because I've been in the staffing industry for 14 years, there is one client of mine who does 2 events a year, and that is a client that I haven't lost. I actually stepped out of the staffing industry and went into HR for 2 years. And as soon as I came back to the staffing industry, that client came right back to me. And it's the only one that I don't say no to.
Well, I'm not talking about events. I'm talking about employees of those casinos and not the events, but the actual casino employees.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of casino clients. And that's actually has not been really my target market to reach out to, because in 2008, I was in the staffing industry, and the staffing company that I represented, I actually staffed almost every single casino on the Strip. And oh my goodness, when you put all your eggs in one basket and something like that happens, you are gonna go under. So I've learned how to actually spread my portfolio. So there are certain casinos that I'll work with, but I don't go after them. They come to me.
Yeah.
So that's how I've had casino clients.
That's scary. That's a great strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. You tapped into what I've been talking about is like, the flow of money doesn't stop. It just moves. The river of money just moves. And you've been able to, through this crisis here, kind of tap into where the river has moved in the construction business, which is booming right now in this town. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I just have one last question. It takes a lot of courage to express opinions, especially in this environment, this social media environment, where anybody behind a keyboard can type anything. And this cancel culture that we have in America right now, for whatever reason, why people think this is cool to cancel people, especially their close friends and families who they've been able to be there for them and support them. And I've been just observing, right? I'm an observer of life, and it's weird that we will support or not support someone we don't know, but then in our very family cultures of the people that we've been closest with, we easily can cancel them. And it's the weirdest phenomenon I've ever seen in my life. And I talk about it with my wife all the time. And my question for you is like, what gave you the courage to kind of express it? Because you're obviously supporting someone that's very unpopular, right? And unfortunately, the debates that happened this last Tuesday didn't really give him a lot of credibility either at that point, and didn't win any new fans necessarily. But what gave you the courage, and has it affected your business, right? I mean, that's the other thing that people are concerned about, is like if they speak vocally to any opinion, right, left or right, that one of their friends or one of their business, partners or whatever will cancel them. What's been your experience through that whole process?
So for me, the only person I fear is the Lord. So when I heard the Lord speak to me and then actually opened up the door for me to meet him, it didn't matter what anybody else said, what they thought. As a matter of fact, that day when I met him, my parents immediately came in from Mexico and asked for pretty much a family meeting. And they wanted to know, why did I even sit to speak to that man? So it's been an interesting journey, but at the end of the day, I love my parents to death, and my family, but the Lord comes first. And I will tell you that my mother, who is a U.S. citizen, she's actually on my side now.
Interesting.
So to me, so to me, it didn't matter. I have my own opinion, and I respect others and their opinions. And I said, I'm going to go ahead and change my Facebook page. And I put that picture up that you guys were showing, and I just went with it. And it didn't matter what anybody said.
Has there been backlash in your business because of it?
There hasn't. There hasn't. I haven't. I mean, basically, I place people out to work. Do I make a difference in our community?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. And I make sure I pay them first, even before I even pay myself. So if there's not enough money to even pay me, I keep going. I'm responsible for so many people. We put over 200 people to work last year in 2019. So for me to have closed my doors or went and, and closed everything down because I was scared and feared COVID, there was a coronavirus, there's no way. By just laying one person off, it's an impact. It's not just one person, it's their family. And then it's a domino effect, it affects the whole community. Sure. So there's no way that I could stop. So I didn't lose any accounts because of who I support. This is who I am. But also another thing is that my clients know me. I don't try to close a deal just to close one. It's we're building a business relationship, because things are going to go wrong. We're dealing with people. I'm in the people business.
That's inevitable.
Right.
Marriage is a perfect example of that. Things will go and guaranteed to go wrong. And it's how you deal with what happens when things go wrong that really end up mattering. Right. And that's where the relationships get built. No, I mean, I appreciate your courage and, your conviction. A lot of people, can't stand up for their own voices. And we need people like you, whether you're supporting Trump or not, or, right or left or anything like that. People need to speak up, but in a way that's respectful, right? That honors other people's opinions as well. And that's what, Ruth and I, we've always encouraged that, right? And that part of building authenticity is standing up for yourself and your belief systems without tramping on others people's beliefs as well. Just because you like the color red and I like the color blue doesn't mean that, we don't like colors. I mean, we like colors, period. Right. And so, I appreciate you coming on today. And Ruth, we got 10 minutes left here, or 5 minutes left to the top of the hour. Any last questions for Laura before we let her go?
No, I just want to thank her for being on the show today, and appreciate everybody watching and our supporters, our fans, and just thank you, and hope you have a wonderful day. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have coming up this week.
All right, Laura, any last words from you before we leave?
Yes, no, just thank you so much for the opportunity. I really do appreciate it. And I just want to tell you that I don't agree with anyone 100%, not even my husband. So if we all can understand that, we're all going to be we're going to be fine. We have to agree to disagree. Absolutely. Right? There are many people that I've supported that I don't agree with them on everything, but I believe that they're the right person for the job. Not the party. It's not a party. It's about people. And like I said, I'm in the people business. I love people. And I will continue praying for whoever we have in the presidency and our nation. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. All righty. And I'm going to do that. And I want to talk for a minute about what's going on at our school. And let's see here we go. Let's see here. Let me see if I can make it any bigger. That didn't help any. No, it's not gonna get bigger. I think over here it was better. Anyway, everybody, sorry for that. Monday, tomorrow, we start our social media class. It's 11 to 3, and we start with LinkedIn. We build a foundation for that. And then on Wednesday, we continue with Facebook Personal, Facebook Business, Facebook Advertising. And people who join the class get 4 Facebook ads targeted to different areas of real estate: retirees, rent versus buy, relocation, and sellers. And then on Thursday, we have a review class in the afternoon as a follow-up to that class for anybody that has questions, because we have to move pretty quickly through the class. So we have a review class for those questions that didn't get answered or things that they want us to go over. But earlier in the day, from 9 to 12, we're having a CE class, and it's contracts, and it's going to be how you dot the I's and cross the T's. And this is a great class if you're new to real estate, if you need CE credits. It's a great class. Jimmy DAGUE is a wonderful instructor, and I always say you laugh and learn with Jimmy. And then on Friday, we continue with our 12 to 2 Buffini 2 hours, and the week is filled. Max?
Looks like it. Busy week. Get educated and ramp up for 2021, because it's literally right around the corner, and you want to be able to take advantage. I mean, who knows how long the opportunities are going to last until we see another, event or season that affects the real estate market. And so far right now, it's the time to take advantage, and more money is going to be made in the next 2-3 years here, probably, than the last 10. If you tap into
no doubt. I mean, there's 80 million millennials that are getting ready to jump into, either getting married, or they're moving out of their home, or they're having kids, and they're all real estate opportunities. And the millennials are the largest group since the baby boomers. I think there were 76 million baby boomers, but 80 million millennials. So but that's a new opportunity for everybody, because they're going to be buying first-time home buyers, then they're going to have children, and then they're going to have to move up. And so they're going to breathe some new life into the 5.5 million homes we sell every year across the United States. And it'll be interesting to see how they impact it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. Yeah, when we this is the fourth quarter. Hopefully it's the winning quarter for everybody to get your strategies and tactics together, so that you can make a real statement about your career for the next 5 years if you just get on the right track now, because you can build a database of some loyal customers and clients.
Absolutely. And as while the competition starts slowing down during this fourth quarter because of the holiday season, right?
Yes, it does.
To pick up and gain more market share and build that list of people, because the people putting the effort in this quarter, will get a leaps and bound head start into 2021 here. So,
yeah.
All right. Any last words?
Nope. That's it. How about you? Life is good.
Yeah, life is good. And we encourage you on this show. As I reflect on this past year, just with everything that's going on, and more importantly, your message, just love each other up, right? We're a community here, of your local community, and, presidents will come and go. I mean, but the people that, you work with every single day, the people that, are in your community, we're here for each other in the long run. We're forced to be here. And so it's so important for us to really take a look at, each other, right? And what we've done for one another, how we support one another. And, to Laura's point, we're always going to have difference of opinions. That's just normal. That's just life, right? That's why family members squabble, right? But that's part of the nuance and the enjoyment of living with other people. And we got to realize the world can't run without community.
Right.
Period. Right. I mean, if you think you can do by yourself everything, you're going to be sorely wrong in the long run. In the short term, there's going to be short spurts, but without you, Ruth, without me, I even talk about the history of this show, right? Without you and I collaborating the way we had, there's no way we reached 316 shows, right?
Right.
For this long. And essentially, very unprofitable, this show. Well, a lot of people don't know that, very unprofitable. This show.
Yeah, it's free admission.
Ruth, I want to give you a lot of credit for the conviction that you've had, now, especially with the daily shows that, you're spending 15, 30, 45 minutes literally every day now for this community. Right. And one of the things I want to say, I only get to go on the show for a Saturday morning here one time with you. But, as I take a look at, when some of these topics that are going to be a little bit more polarizing, because it elicits emotion. Right. And my last words for everybody is, do not allow, heightened emotion to direct your decision making, because in those heightened emotions, states, you don't make good decisions. Right. It's when you can step away from all of that and really evaluate the bigger picture of your life, of a person, of a community, of a person's actions and decisions, that you can really evaluate the situation much better. And so I encourage everybody to, focus first, stop thinking so much here when you judge people, and start thinking more here with your heart, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all what we have.
Right.
And if we lose everything, we can, the cities can burn down, right? But if the people are still there, they can rebuild the city together.
That's right. It's happened.
And it's happened over and over again, right? Life can take everything away from people.
Right.
Right. And we still can rebuild if we have each other. And so,
and I just want to say that I always in my social media classes, I advise the agents, don't get political, don't get religious, be careful what you do on your personal page and things like that. Because when you start expressing opinions about things, you might alienate some people. And I just, but at the same time, I just love everybody. I love left, right, blue, red, all ethnic backgrounds. I just love people. You know,
Right.
I just love people, and I think that this is the land of the free because of the brave, and that we just need to love everybody. And sometimes you just got to cut people some slack, right?
Yeah, we're not. You mean people aren't perfect, Ruth? You mean people?
Yeah, I mean, John always tells me I have so much patience, but I think it's out of my love for people. I really do. I have empathy and I love people, and I think when you have
Yes, you
that,
do, Ruth.
I think
Yes,
that you
you
have
do.
patience, you
Yeah.
know, because I don't judge. So anyway, I look forward to this quarter of the year. I think it's going to be exciting. I love Las Vegas. I love all the things we're doing, and we're not stopped doing things, and it's just going to help everybody. And I just love everything. I mean, I wake up happy. What can I tell you? I just wish this for everybody. You know, when you get to be
No doubt.
almost 3/4
Yeah.
of a century year old, I hope you're as happy as I am,
Absolutely.
or happier. I don't know if that's possible, but for me anyway.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Kick off the fourth quarter with some excitement and joy and some love. And we will see you next week, and you'll see Ruth tomorrow morning.
I love you. Thanks, Max. You're the best. I couldn't do this without you. I know that. And where's that little stop stream button?